Christian capitalist. That's right, a Christian capitalist. And what I really want to talk about right now today is I'm going to break down that idea and what that truly means, because I get a lot of people, especially on social media, who've got comments and feedback and thoughts about me based on what they perceive me to be opposed to who I really am. At the end of the day, first of all, how can you really ever know someone that you've never met? How can you truly know someone just because there's plenty of people that I look towards, that I've researched, that I've listened to, followed their books, their podcasts, things like that. I've looked towards them as a source of knowledge, perspective, insightfulness. So I have a level of profound respect for their perspective based on not necessarily who they are, but based on the knowledge they put out there, based on the information and the content that they've created over time. Normally for a guy like me, it takes me a little while of really reading and listening to and researching before you gain that level of respect, just because you're somebody I don't know. You're somebody I haven't met. There's several people I've referenced throughout my blogs, my vlog, my channel, my different social media contents. There's several people that I've referenced that I see as incredibly insightful. But there's also several people I felt like I've had to come out and defend on multiple occasions, because I feel like they're attacked based on one aspect or another. And I feel like that's something that we've got to stop doing. That negativity of so quickly making assumptions based on one aspect of a person, it's not the sum of who they are. It's just not. I think when it comes to how I run my business, I think a Christian capitalist sums it up pretty well. Now, like I said, I want to dive into what that means. Now, first and foremost, now let's also include the fact that I'm a father. I'm a father. I'm a husband and I'm a father. There's lots of people out there who are in business and incredibly successful, and they are married, they have a husband or a wife, and they're incredibly successful. I always include the fact that I'm a father because your wife or your husband is someone who can actually, typically, in most situations, either they've got their own business, their own job, their own whatever that's going on, or they're going to partner with you in yours. It's not as often that children walk that walk with you. Now, at some point later in life, yeah, they absolutely may take over the family business or they may help you, but it's just not as often. It's more typical that, especially a lot of the people I talk to, there's even more people who it's like, you see these things on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. It's like, oh, you got to do this in your 20s in order to be successful. By your 30s, you got to do this. By your 40s, you got to do this. And by your 50s, you should have been there. Like that's what people post things like that all the time. And the reality is you get people who are like, well, I kind of had kids early in life, and either they took different paths, or some people got married young and had children, or just different things can happen. Some people even have elderly members of their family who have gotten sick and they became dependent upon them, and they just feel like either with that extra dependent or with their children or with circumstances in their life, how could they possibly ever launch a business? And so that's why I include my kids a lot, because not only, unlike a lot of situations, my boys are 8 and 9, but my boys actually play a huge role in my business. They're often involved in what I do. They always want to help. They want to learn. They want to know. They're really inquisitive. They're incredibly smart. And they actually frequently help me be efficient, because they get involved in what I'm doing and then they help me make it happen. They help me come up with great ideas, great information, great content to make videos and posts like these. They talk to me about the things that I do. They have their own stock portfolio at 8 and 9. They're already investing. They always ask me questions wanting to learn about the stock market. They're always wanting to learn. My oldest son, Corey, is really working hard to try to develop a business of his own. He's really excited and wants to get that off the ground. Colton's got different ambitions. He thinks differently, but ultimately, like I said, they're incredibly business minded. They're incredibly smart, and they want to be involved in what I do, which the fact that they want to be involved in it sometimes makes me excited. And then those times that they're like, oh, well, I want to do this instead, I'm like, that gets me excited too, because that's just like a different element of pride. I'm like so happy and excited and proud to see them coming up with their own thoughts and their own idea and not just following dad's footsteps. Absolutely, it's incredible when they want to do what I do, but when they want to do their own thing, that's even, I don't know, it's just a different kind of awesome. So I include them a lot in my content because they help me, but also because I want people to understand that even if you look back at my older videos on my other channel from 3 and 4 years ago, I mean, some of those videos, these guys were really little, and they'd be running around in the back, and they wouldn't be interested in really what I was doing. They would just run through, and while I was posting a video, they'd be like, hello, and just keep on running. But you know what? It didn't stifle my creativity. It didn't stifle what I was doing. It didn't stifle the content that I felt like I was trying to put out there to you and to other people, and trying to get that information out so we could all learn and grow together. So, like I said, the fact that I'm a father, I think, is an incredible element to who I am and to what I do and to what I'm building and the information that I can help you build. Having extra dependents or children or any other obstacles in your life shouldn't be a hindrance, but a motivation. All right, now back to the concept of being a Christian capitalist. You know what? I'm a capitalist, okay? Let's start with that. Let's start with capitalism. I'm absolutely a strong advocate for free enterprise, free market, just the idea of us being able to build a business. Just be able to build a business from ground up. What is more the American dream than that? Just being able to take control of your own life. Say, you know what? I'm not going to work for this guy or that guy. I'm not going to work for them, not because there's anything wrong with them, because I want what they have. That's right. That's it. See, I don't want you to take it from the wrong perspective as I'm throwing shade, because you know what? I've worked plenty of jobs. And you know what? I've had some really great bosses. I've had some not so good bosses too. I ain't even going to lie. It doesn't matter what profession you're in, there's always going to be those people who it's probably not the job for them, but they're there, right? They're trying to get a paycheck. Maybe they got bitter over time. Maybe they just don't like it anymore. Maybe they just don't like the fact they're working at all. Life happens. Things happen to people. People get bitter. People end up not so good at their job. So I'm not throwing shade at those who are working a 9-to-5 job, because I've had plenty of jobs. I worked nighttime jobs. I worked evening jobs. I worked day jobs. There was a time in my life where I had 3 jobs at one time. It's just a part of a process. Most people don't come out of high school and start a business. Most people don't come out of college and launch a business. Some people do, but most people don't. Most people have to fight and work and get there, right? And that's who I'm talking to, all of us. Everyone who's gone through this process, who, like, they've had a job, right? Okay, so, but it's okay to also look at your boss and say, I'm not mad at you, but I want what you got. I want to be the boss. I want to be not the manager either. I don't want to work my way up to manager. I want to own the place. I want to be calling the shots, right? I want to run the company my way. I want to build the products my way. I want to be in complete control of how the company is ran, developed, and its entire concept and principles. Let's talk about the element of Christianity. Just like someone like Chick-fil-A, right? It's one thing if you're a Christian, right? And you're working for a restaurant that may or may not be open on Sunday. What if it's always open on Sunday because it's a busy day? After church, what do you want to do? You want to go get some grub, right? You want to fellowship with your friends, right? Somebody's got to be working that day, right? So as a Christian, is it weird to want to go to a restaurant after church and know that those people are working? Nah. Not to me, because ultimately I think everybody's got choices to make. I've worked on Sunday lots of times. I work on Sunday still, frequently actually. I'm running my own business, but I work on Sundays. I try not to. I get up on Sundays, we go to church, I spend family time, but come late into the Sunday evening, sometimes that's an evening and an opportunity for me and Kimberly to unwind a little bit and spend some, quality couple husband and wife time. But you know what? Sometimes there's been oftentimes different this last nursing contract that Kimberly had, she was working on Sunday evenings. It was challenging. So that Sunday evening when she was at work, and it was unfortunate she had to work Sunday evening, you know what? That was an opportunity for me to put in that work. So I'd hang out with the boys in the afternoon, then we'd have dinner, whatever, then they'd get to bed, get ready for Monday morning, and by that point, it'd be my turn to sit down at the keyboard, start pounding the keys, get some real work done, and start moving towards the next thing. Start watching the market, start watching the London market and things like that were opening up Sunday night. It was time for me to start looking at those things. So I don't fault people who have to work on Sunday. It's a part of life, unfortunately. It's just a part of how things go. If you want to be successful, sometimes you're going to have to make sacrifices here and there and work, right? Actually, you're going to have to make a lot of those sacrifices. So I want you to understand, again, that I'm not faulting anybody who has to work. I'm saying that you shouldn't feel like you're doing anything wrong by wanting more either. And you don't have to fault your supervisors for asking you to work, because they want to be off. They've worked hard to get up to that level that they can now ask their subordinates to work those positions so they can be off. It's a level. It's a process. It's a status. They've gotten to that stage of employment in that company that they can do that now. Now you want to get there, so you need to fight to get there. Or you want to build your business so that way you don't have to worry about that anymore. See, like I said, I believe in free enterprise. I believe in building your own business. I believe in building your own life. But I got no beef if you want to work a job. If you want to be in construction, you want to be anything. It doesn't really matter. No matter where you want to work, you want to be a landscaper, you want to be a mechanic, you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, anything. There's plenty of businesses where you're just going to have to put in work. You're going to have to put in hours and hours at different, different days of the week, and you're going to have to adhere to other people's schedules from times. And as you get into certain levels and certain positions, maybe you won't have to adhere to those schedules anymore. And I commend you on that success. I commend you on making those steps and getting to those levels that you don't have to be tied down to answering to someone else's schedule and someone else's needs. Good for you. But is there more? If you want it, there's always more. There's always more if you want it. But then again, to get there, you've got to fight to get there. I had a post from like 3 years ago that I just ran across the other day on my other channel as we were doing some editing on my old channel. And it was talking about the idea of working 80 hours for yourself opposed to 40 for someone else. When you launch your first business, when you first launch any new business, even if it's not your first one, you launch a new business, you got to be there. You got to be ready. You got to be watching and seeing everything. You've got this company going over here, and it's finally viable, and it's running, and it's doing just fine without your attention. Like you've put management people and senior management, lower level management. You got employees. You got all this stuff happening in this company. It's doing great. So you can take a step back and say, okay, now what? I'm going to take some of my profits and I'm going to invest in a new business. Well, that new business needs your attention. It needs your direct, immediate attention right now. So you're going to have to put in that work right then and make sure that everything goes according to your plan, because that was your idea, right? That was your idea, is to be able to have something that's fully yours, something that you built that's going to run your way, right? So you can choose the days that it's going to be open, the days that it's closed. If you could choose how you're going to run it, you're going to choose the products, the marketing, the style, the everything. The entire ambiance is your say. Now you can obviously have consultants and, dude, You can hire consultants and things like that to give you some expertise on, hey, well, maybe you should do this or that, or maybe you should, but ultimately you want that call. You want to be able to make that call. And not only do you want to be able to make that call, but you want to be sure that when you make that call, that you made the right one and it doesn't go left. You want to know that, hey, I put this in place, I implemented these policies, these marketing skills, and you know what? It looks like things are selling. It looks like things are moving. It looks like business is starting to move in the right direction, and it's only been a month, 2 months, whatever, and I can see the growth already. I did something right. Or you can say, you know what? It was going, up at first, and it's starting to slow down a little bit. What am I doing wrong? What am I missing? You've got to be involved. So it really takes that constant attention, that 80 hours a week ain't even it sometimes. It really isn't. You kind of live and breathe and eat and sleep that business for a hot minute. You really do. People miss that, but that's what being an entrepreneur is. That's what building that new business is and launching that new direction, because you've got to be in it. Like, you've got to be in it. So I remember sitting and working on content. Corey. As I said, my boys are always around. So like I said, I've had times where I was sitting working on content, and I was working on developing this new business, and I was trying to manage multiple different aspects at once. And while I was doing all those different things, I would be at my computer. I posted a video a couple of years ago, and I had literally already been working for like 34 hours straight. And I was like, you know what? Now's the time to post a video. I'm wired, I'm live, I'm like, it's like, I'm gonna make a video right now, and I'm gonna just put out there what it's really like, because that's what I was feeling at the moment. At the moment, I was like, it's been 34 hours. Whew. But that's literally how it is sometimes. To really get things locked down, that's how it's gotta be. Another crucial aspect of capitalism is that freedom. Free. People throw this word around so much, they don't understand it though. People throw it around in interesting, strange contexts on social media and stuff lately. Like, I'm free to do this, I'm free to do that, I'm free to... No, I want to talk about a reality. Freedom within your business. You build your business, and having the freedom to build it under your stipulations. Now, as long as you're not breaking any laws, as long as you're not evading your taxes, you're not doing something that could possibly poison or harm, or you're not creating something in a factory that's releasing toxic gas into the community or something. As long as you're doing things within the boundaries of the law, you're not harming anybody, you're not discriminating against anybody, your business should be your business. You built it. It's your money. You put your money into developing the idea. You put your brain into developing the idea. You put your blood, sweat, tears, your time, your effort, your entire passion, your being, your heart, all of your energy, every fiber that you've got, you put into building this business and growing it into something viable and worthy of being a company and a business. And to have someone dictate to you how to run it, nah, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. You should be able to put appropriate, non-discriminatory guidelines, guardrails, limitations, provisos on your company, on your building. If you buy a building, it's your building. You should be able to say, you know what? I'm going to decide who can work here and who doesn't. Non-discriminatory though. See, there's a fine line to walk with that. You can't just discriminate based on their race, nationality, sex, religion, but although you can't discriminate, you've got to be able to have the freedom to pick who is best for your company. And if someone you don't see as a good fit, they're not a good fit. Well, your company's not diverse enough. Doesn't have to be diverse. Your company doesn't have enough men in it. Doesn't have to. Doesn't have enough women. Doesn't have to. Most of your people that work here are between the ages of 30 and 40. It's the typical demographic that understands what I'm trying to sell. Most of your companies in their 20s. Again, the demographic that I'm trying to reach, the demographic I'm trying to sell to, the 20-year-olds understand it. There shouldn't be limitations based on diversity, based on this lame and unrealistic word of fairness. To say that I have to offer a job to someone who doesn't fit the job so that way I can be more diverse in this area or that area or whatever, so that way I don't possibly offend somebody, I've got to sacrifice the quality of my company and also not offer the job to someone who's more qualified because they're younger or they're older or they're whatever. Look, we're getting into it. This is a real thing. It's a real thing. There's laws in our country about taxes. There's laws in when and how to file them. There's laws in things that can be taxable, tax deductible. There's things that can be funneled through a company and things that are not allowed to be. You know, you're allowed to buy an office if your company needs an office. You're not supposed to fake it though. If your company needs an office, get you an office. Like Warren Buffett, if you fly a jet to all your board meetings, buy a jet. Mark Cuban did the same thing. Bought himself a plane because he used it for his business. But to claim it's for business when it's not business, there's laws against that. So again, I'm not telling you to break any laws. I'm telling you operate within the boundaries of the laws, but ultimately within the boundaries of the laws, you should be able to do what you want and build your company your way. You should also be able to set, again, like I said, the boundaries and the guardrails, so to speak. They're metaphorical guardrails. The idea that you should be able to draw lines and say, this is what I'm not doing, and this is what I am doing. And this is what I expect my representatives to do or not do. There's certain things that if your employees are wearing your uniform, you should be able to simply say, hey, that's content that we don't discuss. Not while using or wearing my company logo. Now you take off my clothes, it's after hours. I don't care what you talk about. Talk about whatever you want. But while you're wearing my company's logo, while you're working for me, you're a representative of me. So there's certain content that says, hey, you don't have to get out there and push my agendas. Just don't think you can wear my name and push your agenda. Now that is something that people have a conflict with. People have a conflict with that because they think it battles free speech. No. Free speech means the government cannot punish you for speaking. The government can't. It doesn't mean that I have to like you or employ you based on what you say. You come in and you start bashing on women or talking about how horrible kids are, you're not going to be working for my company. You're going to start disrespecting the Bible. I don't care. You can be a non-believer. I don't have to agree with you for you to work with me and do a good job. But you can't come in and disrespect my beliefs to other people while wearing my company logo. That's just not going to fly. And this is just, like I said, these are real simple ideas. You know what I'm saying? It's like the concept that people, made a big deal about, like Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, and how could the 49ers, yeah, there was different people outside the NFL that got involved, the president, some other people, newscasters, things that said things. But at the end of the day, the 49ers, they have their policies, and he was wearing their jersey. So when he wore their jersey, he had to represent them. And by him doing that, it made them look like a couple of things. Not a team, first of all. Our own quarterback doesn't stand with us. Okay, you disrespect the country. Okay, that on your own time, whatever. You're wearing my jersey. That's what the 49ers said, and they had a right to say so. They absolutely did. There's people who believe otherwise, but they had a right. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Now let's get to the Christian aspect. I'm a Christian. I'm a strong, outspoken Christian. I love Jesus. I love Jesus. I love the Bible. I incorporate scripture. I incorporate God's word into my teachings, into my business. I do. I do it on a regular basis. Now, I'm not forcing you. You can be a non-believer. You can not believe the Bible. You can think it's just a book. You can not believe in Jesus. And, I'll pray for you. But you can do all that and not believe. And you can sit here and watch my videos and still learn things. You can learn great information. Dave Ramsey is a really smart guy. Incredibly smart. Great business-minded person. Real kind, genuine person. Sometimes he says things that are abrasive and harsh because sometimes, people need tough love in order to get it. He's smart. Now, there's people who have bashed on him on social media because, he's a Christian, he's just out of touch. Well, being a Christian doesn't make him out of touch. And he does have a different perspective than a lot of people. I agree with a lot of what he says. I don't agree with other things that he says. Doesn't mean that he's wrong. Doesn't mean that I'm right. Doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It just means we disagree, and we think that there's different techniques and different approaches to things. But he's still an incredibly smart man. He's been through a lot, and he's learned a lot, and he bases a lot of his teachings based on either his own experience or scripture itself. I base a lot of my teachings off of scripture. I base a lot of my teachings off of my own experiences, my experiences from my own businesses or from people that I knew that were running businesses. There's this idea. A buddy of mine, I was listening to his podcast, Carlos Rios. I was listening to his podcast. It was actually a podcast from late last year. And it was interesting. No, actually, yeah, it was late last year. And he was just talking about the idea of normalizing, like, Christianity, normalizing the idea of being a social Christian and, like, getting out there and just it being a thing that's commonplace for us to talk about. And there's this thing in businesses, right, where there's like HR, right? And you grow a business or you work for a company, you get an HR department, you got to walk a fine line of what you say and don't say, especially depending on how big the company is. The bigger the company, the more rules they may have, right? The more policies, the more the potential of shareholders, the investors, things like that. You got to keep the board, you got to keep people happy. You got to walk a fine line of saying, I'm going to live my life according to my faith, my beliefs, but I'm coming in here to do a job and I'm not going to step on their toes. It's a true thing. Wake up every morning, crack open your Bible. Start the day off in the Word. And as you start the day off in the Word and you just go through your day with a different perspective. You lean into your business with a different mentality, different heart, different perspective, different feelings, different thoughts, and your approach to things is a little different than other people. I'm a good old-fashioned Texas boy. I love football. I love basketball. I love hockey. I love athletics. Anything sports, I love it. I love to compete. I love to be challenged. I love my boys because they challenge me on a daily basis. It's great. But I love to compete and be challenged. And so I frequently, that already puts me in a position of rising to the occasion, so to speak. I like it when things get sketchy because it gives me an opportunity to challenge the moment, right? But not only that, I got a lot of faith and a lot of trust in God. I know that He's got me covered. No matter what happens, it's going to be okay. And with that being said, I approach my business, whether I'm preaching or not. I don't have to preach at people to walk through the day in a different situation. I don't have to carry a Bible with me and dump on my Bible all day for people to see me and see, you know what, hey Corey, this just happened and you're full of joy, baby. And I'm like, I know, right? I was like, it's a good day, it's a beautiful day. I'm like, it was actually kind of raining earlier. I'm like, nah, but this is the day the Lord has made. I'm feeling good. You know what I mean? That's how my approach is. That's how I see it. It's, I remember getting mocked a year or so ago. No, I think it was almost 2 years ago. It's coming towards the end of COVID, right? Towards the end of the pandemic. And somebody close to me was like, you just have this whole idea of like life's like a catchphrase or a bumper sticker of just living my best life. I was like, I rarely say that. I don't ever say that phrase. I know people who say that phrase, but it's like, this is my best life. I'm doing the best I can every day. Every day I'm doing the best I can. Now, of course, it could be better, but this is where God has me right now. And I'm going to soak up every moment that God has me in right now. And tomorrow's got its own problems. I'm gonna focus on today because tomorrow's going to have its own problems. And tomorrow we're going to rise up and I'm going to focus on that day. And then we're in today, we're in the moment, and what is happening today. These are the problems I'm facing right now, and how can I tackle them? How can I attack these problems and knock them out of my face, knock them out of my way? What are the things that God has put in front of me to challenge me? And what are the things that God has put in front or allowed to land in front of me so that way I can lay them at His feet and trust in Him to handle it? There's lots of things I have to lay at His feet. I'm like, you know what, God, I know you got this. I don't know how to work that out, but I know you got this. Thank you, Lord. I appreciate it. I know you got me. I don't know how it's going to work out, but it's going to be okay. This has to be my approach. It's just the way I operate. I like also running my own business with the mentality of a Christian capitalist. I do business consulting. I do investing. I don't have really employees. I've contracted people at times. People have contracted me at times. And because of that, I'm not really bound by those rules and those guidelines of an HR department and board members and things like that. So I can easily open up. I don't ever step on people's toes. I'm not disrespectful. People, again, who aren't Christian, it's okay. I ain't mad at you. I love you. But I'm a Christian. And I don't want you to hold it against me because I am. And I'm going to share my wisdom, what I got, I'm going to share the word. I'm going to share my love and my compassion for my fellow man. And I'm going to do all I can to build my business up and help you build yours up. And, man, let's go live a joyful, happy, wonderful life. Bless you, dude.
Thanks.
And I'm going to make as much money as possible along the way. There's a couple of goals, right? First of all, today, whatever I woke up with, as much money as I woke up with, I want to go to sleep with more, right? Another thing is whatever position, how the closeness level I feel with God, when I wake up this morning, I want to go to sleep knowing I feel closer. I feel like we've made progress. I feel like we're learning more about each other, right? I feel like we're in a relationship, a real relationship. And within the respect of relationship, as I said in the beginning, I'm also a husband and a father. I want to know that when I woke up this morning, the way me and Corey, the way me and Colton, the way me and Kimberly, the way we felt about each other, there's a tighter bond by the time we go to bed. I really want that on every single day. I want to feel like we're closer, we're tighter. There's a more powerful, stronger love and presence with each other and with God in our lives. So, to me, that's me, a Christian capitalist. I'm going to fight for the glory of God. I'm going to fight for my family. And I'm going to fight tooth and nail to make $1 and a cent in this crazy world. And I'm going to keep making more every single day. Anything I can do to help you get there, you just let me know. If you're a Christian, all right, let's rap about it. You want to share what you've learned? You want to share the word? Let's discuss the word? Absolutely. Leave scriptures in the comments below. Let's lift each other up. Let's pray for one another. If you're not a Christian, I'm mad at you. I ain't trying to force it on you. You can still leave your comments and your loves and leave your love and your comments and everything below, and let's talk. Let's build your business, build your family, build your life. Let's do better. All right. Till next time, it's your boy. Be sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding your bell, get your notifications. It's your boy Corey B.